Welcome, welcome. 4 steps how to detach from someone you love the most. Try detachment if attachment isn't working. Not sure who said that, but hey, detachment is key whether you want to stay in your relationship without chasing, breaking things off with an avoidant, emotionally unavailable partner, or finally you want to move on from your ex perhaps. And this isn't just about, romantic relationships only. You can apply this to any concept, to friendships, colleagues, and life situations in general. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. I used to think the more you are attached to someone, the more it means you really care about this person. But I was kind of wrong. What I thought was love was actually more anxiety. When I'm talking about when you can't make a decision without your partner as input, or you change your mind based on their decision or their comment. Let's say you get dressed up and your partner is asking you, oh, are you sure you want to wear this? And then you get actually changed just because of someone else's opinion. Or when you spend hours of fantasizing about your future together instead of actually building it and working actively on it. Or when you're constantly monitoring their mood, their actions, and their step, just in case maybe they are changing their mind about you, maybe they're, there's something off, and subconsciously you're always on the watch out of like, what if today's the day they're not that into you anymore? But this is not love. It's kind of a trauma response. It's a trauma response wrapped up in a nice bow, in a nice romantic packaging. And by the end of this episode, I guarantee you will know exactly what to do, how to detach emotionally in 4 steps only. Plus, stick around for the end because I want to share with you my secret fast track to detachment. It's really like a way to work with your subconscious mind to make the most out of your healing journey, even though there's no fast track in healing, but this is really a method how to detach emotionally faster from what you actually want. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. Welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. As I always say, I've spent like 30 plus years obsessing in my relationships. I was too attached. I was unable to take my power back because when we don't detach, we give a thing or the person, let's say our partner or our ex or the thing we really want the most, all the power. So when they have a bad moment, you have a bad moment. When they break up with you, you feel unlovable and unworthy, and you're spinning and spiraling and obsessing over what you've done wrong. And then even when a friend or loved one passes away, the entire, world stops spinning. You kind of can't breathe, you can't function, you're kind of starving without them. I sat down and figured out why detachment is so powerful, how I managed to detach relatively fast, because detachment was a huge part of my anxious to secure healing journey, and to give you really the most powerful lessons. I've gone back through my journaling notes, through past memories of my 30 years in being in relationships and friendships and of my upbringing, in my one-on-one client conversations, endless YouTube videos, and comments to figure out what are they saying, what are they struggling with the most, what have they tried to really give you the most value today, and to give you a step-by-step guide on what you can do to detach. And as Buddha is saying, no, he's not saying it anymore, but as Buddha used to say, attachment is the root of all suffering. We suffer because we crave and cling and attach to things or people, expecting them to bring us our lasting happiness. But again, it's ours, it's not theirs, right? Just with our partners, we think they are our entire world and they are supposed to make us feel secure and loved and valued and seen and secure. But detached love is on the other hand, is loving, but without trying to possess or control the outcomes and the things you can't control. True love allows freedom, not fear-based attachment. And the truth is, when you let go, you attract everything and more. That's kind of the tricky part about this. And you find your inner peace and you learn to be in control of your emotions again. Are you ready for the 4 steps to emotionally detach from things, to your partner, from people? And also, by the way, this also heals your anxious attachment. One, understand why you are attached and understand all the reasons behind it. Reason one why you can't detach from your partner or from this person is because you've put them on this pedestal. You're looking up to them. You've turned this average person, because we're all on the same level, but you put them on this pedestal like it's this hero, this fantasy. This happens when you're highly romantic, who's more addicted to the idea of love rather than the actual person. So you've developed this belief at some point when you were growing up that you're not okay, but others are. This means you have very low self-esteem and it's unworthiness wound, and you believe others are better or prettier or smarter, or they have everything and you don't, and you look up to them. Reason number two is you have a negative bias. We all have that, but this really is another reason why you attach and cling so strongly to this person, to this thing. So your brain is playing tricks on you. All you can see is their good traits. Meanwhile, the red flags, the value mismatches, the things they don't do for you or don't show up in the way you really need them to, your brain completely ignores. After my breakup, I remember my brain only showed me the good parts of my relationship, and I suddenly remember all of these happy moments that made me question everything, that made me show up, okay, I'm this terrible person now for breaking up, and especially how I ended things, and it really created this shame and guilt spiral for how I ended things and made me question, should I have really ended things? And I forgot about about the reasons why things really haven't worked out as well, and why we were also unhappy and we're arguing and all of these things, but my brain didn't see that. My brain decided to only show me the happy moments. So my brain was really trying to protect me from pain by highlighting the positives and filtering out all of the negatives. I forgot all about the good reasons and the valid reasons why I was kind of unhappy as well, and why, there was a reason in this shift in our relationship at the end, and why we ended up where we ended up. And it's very typical to only remember the negative things in this moment. Reason three. You never learned to fulfill your own needs, and this is really a big one. So you abandon yourself as a trauma response, so they fill this role for you. They become this ideal parent you maybe never had, or something that was missing from your childhood, maybe through inconsistent parenting or through other things. Maybe you were highly sensitive and you felt like emotionally unsafe. So you have this huge need of connection or validation or safety, and then you're hoping that to get all of this met by this one person, and that is your partner, for example, or your ex, meaning you outsource your happiness instead of creating it yourself. And I am very guilty of this. I've been doing this for years and years, but the thing is, you don't even realize it, because it's, you're repeating the same pattern over and over again until either someone really points it out to you, or you have your I'm done moment, and then you really go deeper into inner work, to self-development, and you learn about attachment theory, and wow, everything makes sense suddenly. And because of my abandonment wound, I learned to put my needs last and other people's needs always before mine. The thing when you have to put the oxygen mask first on in the airplane, this is really important. This is a lesson that if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of your partner or your kids or your friends and the loved ones around you. But for me, then retraining myself and rewiring to what's not selfish, to put my own needs before me, because otherwise I can't take care of anyone else, was the best reframe for me at that time, to learn I matter as well. It's not just other people, and I can put myself first. Doesn't mean I'm selfish. And because I always was putting everyone else before my needs, I did this so consistently that I didn't even know at some point what were my needs even. Often when I came home from school, my mom asked me, hey, how are you doing? And every time I said, I'm fine, I'm okay. And I wasn't fine every day. I wasn't okay every day. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was drained. I had all of these different emotions, but I couldn't even find a single word for how I felt except from I'm fine. This is how detached I was in a negative way, and how less connected. I think that's a whole different topic when we are so detached from ourselves that we don't even know anything about ourselves. I think that's definitely a great topic for a different podcast episode. But yeah, so when I found then partner who seems to really care, I immediately outsourced all my emotional needs to him. I would think I'll feel better when he calls. Instead of really asking myself, what do I actually need and how can I fulfill this need right now? Is it maybe even just, some words of affirmation? Can I just reassure myself? Do I need a cup of tea or like a blanket to feel safe? And do I need comfort? Do I just need connection? Do I just need to validate myself? Do I need to stop the negative thoughts and just tell myself, you know what, it's going to be okay? Do I just need to, ground myself? What do I actually need in this moment? And I expected him to comfort me, make me feel loved and secure and taken care of and feeling chosen. And the more I did it, the more I was putting him as my emotional caretaker, and the less I was able to then fulfill my own needs and actually knew what I wanted. And sometimes when he wasn't doing it, I then created resentment. And then I also had completely lost the ability to emotionally regulate without external validation. And that is a pattern I see over and over again in my clients who are actually attached. And this is a skill that can be learned. It's not even that hard. It just takes to know how you do it, repetitions, and really learning and teach your brain what this feels uncomfortable, this feels scary, it feels easier to reach out to your partner and ask for all of these things. But you can totally give these things to yourself. And when you do, you actually learn over time, hey, you know what? This feels so much more empowering because now I am the creator of my life. I am in charge of my emotions and I can make myself feel better. I don't have to wait for my partner to do this or for this person to do this or until this event happens. Like me creating a YouTube channel or creating a podcast, I had to be okay from this detached outcome to say, even if no one is listening for a while, even if I get hate comments, that sometimes even happens for some reason, I have to learn to, detach from this and show up anyway. And this is something I would have not been able to do like a few years ago. And I luckily have learned over time. It's not if you detach from the thing and obsess over it and learn, you create your own emotions, everything changes. Reason number 4, you believe safety comes from outside, not from within. So you've learned that safety is an external thing and not an internal one, and it comes from others, like your partner, for example. So closeness or words of affirmation equals safety to you. Like detaching and focusing on yourself feels terrifying because maybe growing up you experience this perceived abandonment. Like when I was being dropped off at kindergarten, I remember that was a very terrifying moment for me. And my dad, of course, didn't leave me, didn't abandon me. But for some reason, I was a little bit too young. And I used to also feel very physically even sick and anxious when my partner would leave for work and I would stay home working from home. And it sounds a little bit silly if someone doesn't experience the same thing. But for me, I learned to connect safety with closeness. And the moment, kind of like separation anxiety, the moment your partner then leaves for work and you're all day home alone, it's completely, scary, even though consciously there's nothing to be like scared about. And that your subconscious mind, your nervous system is so trained to feel scared or feels like this is a threat right now. So I would just keep checking my phone and was trying to text him, was trying not to text him too often, but I couldn't help it. Checking on updates, and I was so excited when he texted back, and when he came home I was already waiting at the door, and something I couldn't really just switch off like that. My subconscious mind really was trained for knowing what separation means danger and there's something not safe here. So it's no wonder that I can't detach easily until I haven't reprogrammed myself that this is actually safe, until I have healed these patterns. Reason 5 why you are so attached and can't detach easily is your lack of self-trust. So detachment is about knowing you are okay no matter what. It's about self-trust. Self-trust is probably something you have never learned. It feels safer to outsource solutions over your emotional happiness rather than believing if it's not this, than something else. You would rather stay in the discomfort of the familiar rather than explore the possible comfort of the unfamiliar. Reason 6, you're reinforcing the old habits of feeling insecure and unable to detach because you keep doing the same things over and over again. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly over and over again and expecting different results. That's what Albert Einstein used to say, and he was right with that. So you need to break off and do something differently if you keep texting your partner, or if you keep worrying about something without trying, like meditation or going for a walk or literally working with a coach or watching YouTube tutorials or actually applying the action steps, then things might not be different. And then again, we program ourselves with repetition and emotion. And if every time you feel this enormous pain when your partner doesn't text back and when something happens that is outside of your control, you tell yourself every time, see, I told you so that this wouldn't work, and people will leave. But that's why it's so important that you work consciously on your subconscious patterns to create different patterns, different repetitions with positive emotions, to tell yourself, you know what, even if this person left, I'm still okay, I'm still here. Look back at things that you really got attached to years and years ago, maybe in school, that you got obsessed over, and now it's not a big deal anymore at all. Okay, I hope you can't hear the rain. It's very heavily raining right now, and I usually try to cut out the background noise, but I'm not sure if I'm able to this time. So I hope you don't mind a little bit raindrop sounds in the background. Reason 7 why you're so attached and not able to let go and emotionally detach is because you're obsessively trying to control everything and things that you can't control. You're exhausting yourself trying to control everything around you. How much reassurance you get from your partner, how they unload the dishwasher, whether they apply sun cream on their face, what kind of diet they eat, how much they move and walk their, I don't know, how often they brush their hair, if they have hair, I don't know. Anything. You lecture them, and if they forget something in the household, to pick up the socks and all of these things. And the more you try to focus on what they're doing wrong, what they should be doing instead, and how much they should reassure you, the more you focus on things outside of your control. Because you can never control the other person. Yes, you can ask for things and communicate, but in the end, you can only control your own thoughts and your own actions and your own emotions. And the reason why we overthink and obsess in our heads, because we want control and safety. You know, control equals safety. But by doing this, we spiral, we create more anxiety and push, we focus, and literally we get away from our outcome. But the brutal truth is we can't control our partner, even if we all have tried. The moment I realized for myself, everything shifted for me. And even if things were not perfect, the house wasn't perfect, our schedule wasn't perfect, but I had inner peace. And it is so much more important than ensuring the dishwasher is unloaded or everything's perfectly clean and your partner does exactly 50-50 in your relationship like you would expect him to. And a client of mine actually used to track her partner's location constantly. And they had a tracker and all of these things, check who he liked on social media, try to see who he's following, if he's still following up with his ex, and all of these things. It was also kind of like the manager, scheduling his weekly schedule on what he has to do and following up, and being very like in her masculine energy. And in truth, like, she was very terrified of uncertainty, that controlling everything felt like the only way to really feel safe. In our coaching sessions, I asked her to imagine how her partner might feel with this level of monitoring, and we really went deeper, and the realization hit her hard that it is very suffering for him. And she was able to see this, and we worked on that. And this became really one of her turning points. Through our work together and on working on detachment, really, she learned to slowly let loose of her grip. We also added, ways to work with her anxiety, because anxiety is, this huge big thing why you often can't let go. And everything shifted going from this moment onwards. And she told me, for the first time, I really can breathe as well, because she didn't realize how much pressure she put on herself by trying to, do everything, be everything, control things she couldn't control. And reason 8 why you're so unable to detach yet is because you've created this false reality in your head. I read a comment online saying something like, you get attached to this false reality of happiness. And another one pointed out, it was my love, my energy, and my effort that made him special. Without it, he's just ordinary. That kind of proves it as well, right? So the truth is, it's less about your love for someone and the more about your fear that makes you cling so hard on someone or the thing or the outcome. Your attachment isn't proof of your love, it's evidence of your anxiety. Have you ever noticed you get attached the most to things or people which you can't really have, who give you not enough? The people who like withdraw the most, the more you attach, the more they pull away. You get attached to people the most, which you can't have. The more unavailable someone is, the more you want them. The more I chased my partner or pushed him for cuddles and affection, the more he pushed me away. And it didn't mean he didn't want me as a person, but just alone this active pursuing and need of physical closeness and emotional closeness was just too much for him because that was his triggers. So by noticing this, it doesn't mean necessarily the person doesn't want you, but they don't want this act of attachment. And if you don't learn to detach, here's what happens. They control your emotions. They hold the power over you. You stay stuck in this push and pull dynamic in your anxious avoidant relationship, for example. So now that you understand that, let's move on really how to break free. So this was the biggest part of this 4-step framework, I promise. Understanding and awareness is usually like 80% of everything. The rest is not even that much. Now step 2 and 3 and 4 are much smaller. So step 2 is challenge your beliefs. Here's how to really break the cycle. This step is all about changing what keeps you stuck. So create a list of all the beliefs that keep you stuck right now. Become a master at challenging them, and then create new beliefs that set you completely free. Your old beliefs might sound like, I need them to be happy. No one will ever love me like they do. I can't survive without them. Does it sound familiar? Let me know in the YouTube comments if this is you or what beliefs are holding you back. So, but here's the wake-up call you need to hear, I think and I hope. So these are just lies. Lies your anxious brain is telling you. Your new beliefs could be something like, your new beliefs or thoughts might sound something like this. Your hopes and needs may not get met by this one person alone. This person is who they are, but not who I fantasize them to be. I can get my needs met in healthy ways. This is not a tragedy, and I'm not a victim. I'm the creator of my emotions, and I can detach. If not this, then something else. If not now, then another time. What's meant for you will simply find you. You know this one, right? Yeah, and life goes on and you'll be fine. And as one person also shared online somewhere, the love that you're searching for outside is already within you. And I don't want to quote these people online because, you know, there are people who are leaving comments on Reddit or YouTube and they haven't really given any permission to name their thoughts out loud. So I don't want to put anyone here on the spot. And every time you choose to believe a new truth and cancel this lie, you're building this muscle of detachment. The more you do this, the more you build this over and over again. But you have to notice it. Ideally, write this down. Write down the old belief, cross it out, and write down the new belief, and write it down over and over again why this is true. Find evidence for that. And by the way, if you want to go deeper, I'm linking an attachment library below. A magical place where you find lots of free resources, including worksheets, journaling prompts, podcast episodes, cheat sheets, and checklists. For example, 181 self-love ideas to detach and thrive, or the ultimate guide to end jealousy forever, 10 journaling prompts that transform my abandonment fears, the anxious to secure checklist, the he doesn't reply flowchart, a boundary and self-esteem toolkit, my worry-free flowchart, 11 habits to rewire your subconscious mind, and so much more. So don't miss out on this. Yes, and all for free. Step 3, identify and meet your needs. What are all the things that you think this person is giving you or should give you or has given you that you can't give yourself? Challenge this again. These are limiting beliefs, right? Everything you want from them, you can give yourself, at least to like 80, 90%. And everything else, other people can give you. You can spread this out, and other people can fulfill this need as well. You don't have to just get one person in your life who's supposed to fulfill all your needs. So first, give yourself what you really need first. Like, this isn't just about self-care, it's about becoming your own source of security. Let me give you some examples. Let's say if you need connection, learn to sit with loneliness until it forms into, solitude. Learn to be okay being alone without feeling lonely. If you need safety, learn to process your emotions, to self-soothe, to not rely on your partner for co-regulation. Try meditation, try breath work, try slowing down, try to connect with nature, try to connect with yourself, just being there with yourself, and learn to reassure yourself and validate yourself. Learn to become your own best friend. If you need validation, speak to yourself kindly, challenge your thoughts, be really your best friend, and talk to yourself out loud even. That's very powerful. Thoughts are powerful, but if you say them out loud, it has a much stronger effect. I saw a study once, I think it's strengthened the effect by 3 times or 10 times if you say things out loud, something like that. And develop hobbies that make you lose track of time. If you're busy, if your life is full, if you're obsessed with your life, you attract everyone else, right? Who are people you're really inspired by? Who you think, oh my God, they're magnetic, I want to be like them. They're not like sitting on the couch doing nothing all day and complaining, judging people, gossiping around. They're actually full. They are really able to connect with people. They're going outside, they're doing things, they're journaling, they're also be able to connect to themselves. They're excited about life. So really maybe start an online course or go outside and connect with people there and really figure out, hey, what is it actually that I like? Do I like art? Do I like dancing? Do I like movement? Do I like nature? Do I want to climb? Do I want to go for a walk? What do I want to learn? And also build like a physical connection to yourself through movement. Anything that really helps you to like reclaim your body as a place of home. And this can take a while, but again, this is also very powerful. And then the next step here in learning to fulfill your own needs is create more sources of needs. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but create a life that is really full and filled with all of different things. Have one person you can go to and gossip about the TV program. Have one person you can talk to about what's happening at work, to really dump your emotions. Good luck to that person. For example, like I can really talk to my partner about anything, but I don't use him as like my validation dump or to fulfill all my needs about certain kind of topics. My partner's not the best source of getting these needs met, and he shouldn't be as well. Sometimes I want to speak to my mom about certain things. Sometimes I'm going to go to a different person, and really find different people in your life and different sources how you can fulfill your needs in different ways. Spread yourself out. Even if you're trying to get over your ex, if you suddenly have like 5 other sources how to feel safe and secure and connected and loved, now it becomes much easier, because now you have also all of these other areas that fill your bucket. Like connect with your family members who uplift you, reach out to your sister or brother or even cousin, even chat with like the lady at the post office like I used to do, and connect with other dog walkers if you're a dog walker, or just even if you're not, just touch the dogs. Like everyone is always so welcome and open if you're a dog walker. And every bit connection really fills up your cup more and more, so that your partner doesn't have to do it for you. And then as additional resource, ask your partner for support. And of course you can go to your partner for all of these things, but it's not the first thing you should go to if you really want to learn to take your power back and to be in charge of your emotions. And step 4, that is really like do some shadow work. And that is an additional tool, like to really rewire your subconscious mind. And this is how it works. And it's called, I call it the mirror effect. So if you feel triggered by your partner's actions, reflect this back onto yourself. Let's say if you feel like they don't spend enough time with you, ask yourself, where do you not spend enough time with yourself? If they don't value you, only give you breadcrumbs, for example, point the finger back to you, like at least 3 of them pointing back to you. If they don't value you or only give you breadcrumbs, ask yourself, how are you giving yourself only breadcrumbs? How are you not valuing yourself? Or if they are emotionally unavailable, again, where are you emotionally unavailable to yourself? And now this part is really all about how we can really fast track your detachment journey. And this is all about the secrets of your subconscious mind. Just before, really quickly, if you are anxially attached, highly ambitious, you have tried it all, but now you're ready to become securely attached using this power of the subconscious mind, I offer one-on-one coaching where we meet bi-weekly to help you to really transform your anxious attachment style. If you're serious about, real change, I highly recommend my 4 or 8 month coaching program. And here's the truth, the biggest transformation is actually not in the coaching calls, but it's happening all in between the coaching calls, in between the sessions, when you actually apply these steps. Because coaching isn't about just talking, it's actually about taking the action steps. So if this sounds like you, check the link in the description below or in the show notes to reach out to me or to jump on a free call with me to see if we are a great match together. And now the secret to fast track your detachment journey. Here's the powerful truth about, what people miss often. The fastest way to detach isn't through your conscious mind, but it's through rewiring your subconscious mind. So your conscious mind holds only 5% of your actions and decisions. Only the other 95%, that's your subconscious mind running the show based on your old programming and beliefs. This is why logically you still can't seem to do it. You've read the books, you've watched the movies, and you've watched the YouTube videos, you've done therapy, but logic alone can't override decades of subconscious programming. The real secret is this: you need to break free directly to your subconscious mind through consistent targeted programming. So start rewiring your brain through gentle, consistent exposure. Start small. Can you go for 2 hours without checking their phone on social media? Then try it with 4. Can you spend a weekend focus on yourself without making plans with your partner or without obsessing over your ex, what he's doing? Can you really focus on yourself? Maybe really fill in an entire weekend just with your own plans. Can you, make your own decisions about what to eat for dinner? And reinforcing, and it's important to really reinforce these new neural pathways to create new beliefs and to regulate your nervous system as well. So journal every day, write down 10 specific reasons why letting go is propelling you forward towards your goals. Document this with evidence. List how your old beliefs have kept you stuck in specific situations. This is also rewiring your mind, finding pieces of evidences, you know what I mean. Rehearse really your freedom. So vividly imagine your new detached self in these triggered scenarios, but how you now would react differently. Record your new neutral or believable affirmations that support your detachment journey, like, if not him, then someone else. If not now, then it will happen eventually. Something like this, right? Listen for 20 minutes in the morning or even just 10 minutes or in the evening before falling asleep. That's exactly when your brain is in this hyper-suggestible theta brainwave state, when you are very hyper-suggestible for new beliefs. And because at its core, attachment isn't about them, it's about a lack of self-trust, to be okay with them without with a different outcome, without this person, without the situation. And when you target your subconscious mind directly, detachment stops feeling like constant struggle and starts feeling more naturally. And this is kind of a shortcut that really, really fast-tracked my journey. After a while, it will feel much more natural. And remember, create a life outside your relationship. This advice is extremely important. Sometimes when we get attached, when we get too attached, we open up so much more space in our daily routine just for them. And then when they aren't constantly in our space or talking to us or wanting to spend time with us, everything feels like a void and it feels wrong and we feel like uneasy. Never let someone change the original life routine you had before you met them, unless it really benefits you and you really want to do this for you. Your relationship should add to your life, never become your life. Stop creating fantasies as well. We are all on one level, every one of us. We don't have to change for anyone. The moment you detach, you attract. Detachment is not a fast track, it is healing, but there are ways to really speed this up for sure. And stop selling yourself short. Take back your own power. See this person exactly for who they are actually, and realize, is this meant for me? Do I cling on out of fear, or is this actually love? Because in the end, we break our own hearts, but we are also the ones who can heal them. And that's the good news. So if you love this video, you really have to watch this one, titled "Watch This Before You Chase Your Partner for Validation: 7 Steps to Stop Being Insecure." This will also help you as an addition to this podcast. And again, remember, change in a relationship starts with you, thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. I hope you love this. See you next time. Bye bye, Yula.